I'll be the first one to admit that I am not the best rider out there.
Oh! The front end turned in the direction towards home.
But after countless and countless fails, I picked up a few things along the way. So here are my 5 top things that I've learned this year from ADV riding. And number 5, it might save your life. What's up, guys? I'm James from Back Road Bike Adventures. Now, I'm pretty new to the ADV scene, so this is definitely tailored more towards the beginners just stepping into this. So hopefully some of these tips will help out a few people. Now, some of these tips may be common sense to a lot of people, but these are the 5 things that really hit home for me this season. Let's go. Number 1 on the list is lighter bikes are way more fun. Now, mind you, I don't have the lightest bike in the world. This is still considered a pretty heavy adventure bike. But I'm slowly making my way down. Started with an Africa Twin, now down to this. One day I would absolutely love to get into an actual dual sport bike. If any of you guys can convince my wife that that's a good idea to have 2 different bikes, then by all means. Her number is 8675-309, Jenny. Lighter bikes are way more nimble, especially when you're starting out. If you're practicing, this is how you're going to develop a lot of good skills. When you do drop the bike, it's going to be a lot easier to pick that thing up. When you do go on adventures as well, you can take some more challenging terrain, right? Kind of test your limits a little bit easier. And that's just going to improve on your skills each time. You're going to have a lot better traction out there. A lighter bike kind of grips to everything a little bit easier, and it's not weighing down, right? You're not having a 400, 500 pound beast trying to carve through these trails. These ones just kind of float over. Now, depending what kind of riding you're doing, you're going to have lower fatigue. That means you can do a little bit more challenging sections when you're actually out there. And again, coming back to when you drop your bike, that's for a lot of people kind of the knock on adventure bikes and stuff, right? When you topple over and you got to pick it up, all of a sudden your smile turns into a frown, you're panicking, or sometimes you get stuck in a situation where you can't get out of. So it's lighter bikes are way more fun that way. The only problem is distances, right? It's depending how far you want to go with these, or even hitting the highway. So with mine, unfortunately, I had to make a compromise because I still hit the highway quite often to get to certain places that I want to. And I just love exploring, especially in British Columbia here. I love going down south 4 or 5 hours, or even going up north, it doesn't matter. But there's a lot of sections where you need the highway. Compromise had to be made. Number 2 is when you're headed downhill, keeping your arms loose. And what I mean by that is when you're standing up, kind of a long grade downhill, you're going to squeeze your knees to the tank and your arms are just going to be kind of floating there. What I found was if you're going downhill and you're kind of squeezing and trying to feel every little rock that's going through, you're going to get a massive arm pump. You're going to get exhausted pretty quickly. So when you're going downhill, just let the arms float. The bike's going to do what it wants to do. You're actually going to have better control of it because now all your pressure is going to be on your legs and you can move with the bike, right? Kind of one fluid motion. So just that one trick of having loose hands, I've saved a ton of energy when I'm out there. Again, this is kind of mainly for when you're going downhill. The more you can save energy to build it up for actual scenarios where you need to exert more energy, the better you're going to be. And the happier the ride's going to be. So number 3 on that list is it's not a bad idea to turn around.
I'm quitting. Tapping out.
All right, there is no trail in the world that's worth risking your safety. It's going to preserve your bike a little bit longer, because if you're trying these technical trails and you fail, right, you damage your bike, let's say you put a hole through the crankcase there, you're stuck, you're screwed. Depending how deep in the backcountry you are as well, what are you going to do? So sometimes when you get to a trailhead and you're looking at it and you're thinking, you know what, that might be past my limits there, it probably is. So it's probably a better idea not to do that. Now, if you're with a group of riders and you guys want to challenge yourselves a little bit, by all means, that's great. But especially if you're by yourself, you have to form a little bit better habits and thinking and tell yourself that, you know what, I'm going to play it safe on this one. So it's going to help avoid you getting stranded out there. It's going to conserve a lot of energy, because if you do all of a sudden get stuck on that trail that you really wanted to go check out, you can get back home. And the best thing about this one is it keeps the adventure fun. Your frustration levels get up super high. I know mine does, my stress levels especially. When you come up to a situation, you fail, You try to get through it again, you fail again, and then all of a sudden you start kind of getting in this panic mode of either I got to get through it or I got to turn around, right? And usually the smarter decision is to turn back around. And lastly, longevity in the sport. Knowing your limits and stopping when you need to before you make an actual bad decision, that's a good idea. Now, number 4 on this list is the more you pack, the heavier your bike is. What? Oh, it's like no one's ever told me that before. But I'm starting to realize I'm trying my best, absolute best, to try to pack down my camping gear when I put it on the bike. It's a long process. It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a lot of times to figure out what I really want to take and what I don't actually need. So it takes practice. So I know there's a ton of guys out there that are preaching, take less, take less, take less. I get it, and I am trying. It's difficult. It's a tough one, you know? When you're used to having a camping chair when you're out there, or a nice tent or a sleeping bag, it's tough. When you pack heavy or quite a bit of camping gear, things change. Things change on the bike, the geometry, the suspension, everything changes. You'll probably notice right away when you get into some loose stuff that, yeah, this bike feels a lot heavier. So when the bike actually topples over and comes down, number 1, it's going to be a little bit heavier to pick up. So if you're by yourself, that could be a bit of a struggle. But there is a trade-off, right? It's being comfortable, because if you're not comfortable at camp, then are you going to actually want to go out and do that again? So adventure bike riding is all about compromises. It's tough. It's either there's no usual middle ground of packing too much. It's either you go full on, you're packing way too much, or full on, you're packing almost not enough. It's tough. But when you do pack lighter, it definitely means you have a little bit more freedom. So typically you have quite a bit more fun because you can rip around on these trails just a little bit easier. Now, number 5 on this list is riding with a friend is typically better, and it can sometimes even save your life. If you crash, if you get hurt, if you get stranded out there, at least you got a buddy out there that can potentially help out. And what I found, especially this year with moto camping side of it, I've done a bit of both with going with some friends and camping with them, or even camping alone. When I camp alone, I get nervous. It's you hear every little sound, right? You almost get a little bit paranoid. When it starts getting dark out, I feel like a little child. I need a little night light or something like that. But when it gets dark out, every little crack out there that you hear, or rustling of a leaf, you think it's a cougar or a bear or even a werewolf coming to get you. You just never know. So you're kind of on high alert. So when I camp alone, I put my earplugs in and I just hope I don't hear them coming and they can finish me off while I'm sleeping. That'd be ideal. Now, having a buddy gives you a second set of eyes for navigational purposes. So if you're going along and you miss a trail, before you're all of a sudden way in the middle of nowhere, maybe he can pick up on that and tell you, hey, we missed the turn there. You can share some gear, some resources, so you're not all packing the same thing. So maybe only one of you brings a tire pump, right? You both don't need one. Another thing is problem solving. So you get to a spot in the road where it's a tricky situation. Now you got 2 minds that can kind of decipher, is this worth going through, or maybe what obstacles do we have to get around to get through? So you got a moral support system there with a buddy. And sometimes it can be kind of like a devil and angel on your shoulders here. It's either them trying to egg you on to try to get through a section, or maybe it's them trying to be conservative and tell you, hey, no, hold back, our skills aren't there, I don't want to crash, let's get home. And lastly, you got someone that you can share the memories with. It's nice at the end of the day to talk about this afterwards and, hey, remember when I got that flat tire and we fixed it on the side of the road? Or, hey, remember when we got to this section in the mountain where it was very, very tough to get through, but we did it? Let's go do that again. Right? It's a lot of fun when you can share this with someone. Now, I know there's a ton of you guys out there that are introverts, and when you get on the motorcycle, this is kind of escaping from life. This is your time to just go and reset your mind, and that's not a bad thing. But when you do go do that, please, I encourage you to at least get some sort of communication, right? A Garmin or whatever it is, to radio in if you do end up getting hurt, saying, hey, little Oompa Loompas, come help me, my leg's broken, right? Because if you're stuck out there, you got a broken leg, it's almost like, what's that show where he's going down a cliff and he gets his arm stuck 72 hours, or I can't remember what it was, but anyways, he ended up having to chop his arm off. God, no thank you. No thanks. Now, adventure riding, it's not just about the miles, it's about what you learn along the way. Challenging yourself, trying new things, and yeah, you might fail at a few, but if you can learn from those mistakes, it's gonna help you improve and become a better rider. Now, I wanna hear from you guys, what are your top 5 ADV things that you've learned over the seasons, so we can share it all with everyone else. As always, ride safe, stay dirty.